Joining me now on In Conversation with is State of Mind. How are you guys?
Hiya.
Hi. Really good.
How are you all? You all right?
Yeah.
Busy.
Good. Now, you're all over the place. We've got some people down in Kent, some people up in Guildford. Thanks for taking the time to join me. It's great that you have.
Thank you for having us.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thanks.
You're welcome. Anytime. So let's start off from the beginning. You know, you look quite a young band.
Yes.
So
we are.
where did State of Mind start? Who's going to tell me?
I don't
Let
know.
me go for it.
Started in college, I guess.
College.
I would say college. I mean, our age gap is like what, 21 to 16. Sam being the youngest then baby of the group. I was on a music course. Evie and Luke met at their time in technical college, which coincided with my course.
Cool.
And then they went on to do the exact same course I did together. And then, yeah, we just all kind of knew each other somehow, weirdly.
And that's how things start, isn't it? Really, a lot of stuff starts via school or college, mutual friends or that kind of stuff. So that's really cool that you've got that basis there. So let's talk about your sound, because you know you're kind of slightly different. Would you say?
I'd like to think
that's
so.
Quite a compliment, actually.
Yeah,
that's what we kind of want.
Exactly.
Don't like the idea of sounding the same as everyone else, do we?
No.
And I absolutely respect that, and I think it's awesome that you have your unique sound and that you're slightly different, because people will sit up and take note of what you do. So how did you, obviously State of Mind, you formed State of Mind, did you go, right, this is a sound we wanted, or did you stumble across it? How did you get the framework about you as a band?
It was very much a kind of, I don't want to say accidental, because there was absolutely thought behind our process.
Yeah.
But I think especially because all of us, we don't all have exactly the same tastes. So we're all quite varied. Amy's kind of forte is slightly more pop rock, heavier stuff as well. You know, Amy's very, Evie. She's very like slightly more metalcore, like a lot of harder stuff. I'm more progressive. I like a lot of tech stuff. And Sam is.
And then there's Sam.
Yeah.
Who likes hip hop and rap.
Love it.
We don't all have the same kind of idea in mind. We all like different things. All of our own personal influences from what we've taken from our stuff all mixes together into the sound that is State of Mind. We don't sound like any other band, and we're quite proud of that to an extent.
And you should be, and don't change. Don't let anyone say to you, oh no, well, you're a bit different. Don't change. Keep going. I absolutely love that. So
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Amy, vocals. Who inspired you? Where did you get your inspiration from?
I hate having to say this because I feel like it's a big stereotype with women in rock genre, but Hayley Williams was a big inspiration for me growing up. And I don't want to say unfortunately, because I still think she's an amazing vocalist.
Yeah.
I just hate that there's a lot of stigma really of people who are female in the rock scene enjoying Paramore and instantly being compared to Paramore. Yeah. Like, it's really hard not to draw comparisons, I guess, because people hold that as like their main idea of what it means to be a woman in rock.
Yeah.
So that's one of my main inspirations. Jenna from Tonight Alive.
Yeah.
Another band that got heavily compared to them, but they have such a good sound and they're so different in so many ways and still just as good. I really look up to a lot of women in rock, and that was an accidental thing, I think. I just kind of surrounded myself with all these females who were doing what I wanted to do. But I also loved bands like All Time Low, which is like obviously more pop punk. They've been one of my favorite bands since I was like 11, and I've seen them so many times, and just, I don't know, the way they write for me is like one of the ways that I like to kind of take inspiration from.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'll go with those three.
I love that. And you know what, being a female in the music industry is tough, and it's really, and I absolutely love seeing female fronted bands. Susie Quattro for me growing up was a huge thing. Stevie Nicks, the stereotypical rock chicks. But yeah, I totally get you. I'm showing my age now.
No, that's why like I have such a love for people like Alanis Morissette as well. Like,
Yeah.
but I still like up to date music, but I will go back and listen, and I find inspiration in the past as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Evie, what's it like being a drummer, a female drummer?
It's brilliant. I do you know, I was expecting to, I've heard so much, and obviously from being in a female fronted band, you hear a lot of the whole female fronted bands can't be considered proper bands and stuff like that, and just the whole thing behind, like you said, women in music. But honestly, I've had nothing but positivity. I've never had, oh, you're a girl drummer, or you're this, or you're that. It's always been really, yeah, you're a drummer, and you drum how I like, and that's great.
Awesome.
I love it. I love
really
I love
cool,
being
right?
a drummer. I love being in State of Mind.
My husband's a drummer. I live
Yes,
with a drummer.
I love him.
Yeah.
I want to meet him.
He's a pretty good drummer too. Luke, let's just fire a question at you. Sam, don't worry, I'm not going to keep firing questions at anyone. In terms of your songwriting, how does the progress work? So does somebody come up with the lyric first, or does somebody come up with the melody, or how does it work for you guys?
So all of our songs, they've all had a kind of similar route when it comes to our songwriting. So it's normally me and Amy, or me, Amy and Evie will come up with an instrumental idea first. We normally start with the instrumental section, then add lyrics over top.
Yeah.
But we will experiment with vocal melodies and stuff. So I'll come up with a riff or a chorus or something. I'll record it. I'll send it to Evie. She'll say, oh, whether I like it or don't like it. And then we'll kind of build it from there. I distinctly remember the writing process for Buried Alive. It was written in Amy's bedroom. I had my Telecaster in drop C, and I kind of accidentally wrote the riff, immediately recorded it on her little home setup, bounced out as a demo, and then I went home and kind of wrote the entire song just from the perspective of a guitar part, like thinking of the song in my head. We brought it to rehearsals a couple of weeks later, and we all just kind of built it up from there.
Cool. Sam, how long have you been playing bass?
I started playing bass before anything else when I was like 11, I think.
Cool.
And then I started playing guitar for a few years, and then like this was the first time I sort of went back and like played bass in a band. So it's pretty cool that I can go back to that from where I started.
Do you still play guitar a little bit as well?
Yeah, I try and play a bit of everything so I can make my own music and stuff as well.
That's cool. I love that. Can't beat a good bass line though, right?
Definitely. It's got to be my favourite instrument for sure.
You know what? People and bass players are so laid back.
Sam is definitely the most laid back out of all of us.
Yeah, he's most chill.
So let's talk about lockdown, because it's been a crazy year. I've kind of got to touch on it because it's been absolutely mental. How have you found it as a band? Have you been able to do much?
I think it's been kind of hard to navigate because it's a situation we've never been put in. And I mean, when we were younger, obviously we grew up seeing different kinds of health related problems all over the world, like back when there was like swine flu and stuff like that. So we don't really seen about it. We'd never really known. And then kind of like when this all hit, Evie and Luke were looking at going off to like uni that year as well. So that added a whole lot of pressure on their side, because they're having to not only navigate a pandemic, but also start a new life kind of away from home for the first time. I moved out that year as well. So I went from living with my parents to living alone, and all of a sudden having all these like kind of hard things on us. And we started a project with Arts edX, which had started December 2019, I believe. And we were all looking so positive to continue it throughout the year. We thought, by March we're going to have this all wrapped up, by April all done, released, and then it took us a year to actually get through it and get everything recorded and get everything done.
And it's tough, isn't it? It's tough because
100%.
you normally would be seeing each other for rehearsals. You would normally have that time to sit and write, and you would normally have that time to let out any craziness, because I find music for me is a whole release, and having that creative moment. So it must be so tough for you.
Yeah, it was tough. It was hard to write as well. I think we found like we had a bit of a disconnection sometimes, because it's hard to write emotionally when you're looking at a computer screen. And like I feel like having that presence of I don't know, not technology, but something so unhuman is really like kind of weird. It's really odd when you're trying to really get in touch with how you're feeling. It's why, like, I think we do prefer to write in person together. We sat at Evie's dad's once and we literally just busted out 3 songs that were like rough cuts of them, and we felt really good after that, and we've not been able to do anything like that now.
Yeah, it's because that energy, isn't it, that creative energy that you'll have and all bring to the table when you actually like I say sitting together. It must be tricky. So what's the plans then, Evie? Maybe you could answer this one. What's your plans moving forward? Are you recording an EP, recording an album? What's the plan?
Well, we are really wanting to record an EP. And I think, honestly, if last year wasn't as hectic as it was, it may have already been done. But it was just, it was so difficult. But we really want to record an EP. I think me and Luke were talking the other day maybe about doing some kind of live EP. But yeah, just I think one of the main things we're kind of focused on is getting back out and being able to rehearse together and play together. Because one thing that I know that we all really miss is being able to play shows. Luckily, like just before we went into lockdown, we played 2 shows in a week, and it was like the best, because it was like if we hadn't done them, we would have just been crying. But yeah, I think an EP is definitely something we're looking into.
Brilliant. Luke, whereabouts do you record, rehearse? Tell me.
So it all depends on where the songs are. So if we're writing, normally they come from home, and then once we've got a basis, we'll go to a rehearsal space. Back home, pre-COVID, we had this odd habit of rehearsing in the venues we play. So we often used to go to Elsewhere in Margate just to get a feel of the stage, and we're very familiar with that venue. With previously me, Amy, and Evie all being within walking distance of it. It used to be quite a common place for us to go and watch live music and then eventually play. And there was also this little spot near Revolution Skate Park that Evie used to hook us up with. This tiny little room that smelled of cigarettes, and we used to go in there and just be loud for a few hours.
Nice.
And then recording, if we're just getting demos and stuff, as I said, it will be at home. And then when we've recorded the 2 singles that we put out, they've both been done in different places. So the first record was very kindly purchased. Session was purchased by Amy as a Christmas present.
Nice.
Of which that is possibly the best Christmas present for me I could have ever got, because it was Anchor Baby. For me, there are some studios in Kent that are kind of small, very home based, but I think Anchor Baby for us was a very new experience. And for a first record to come out of a studio like that, sounding as good as it does, I think it's very, very lucky for us to have that opportunity.
Dad Lucas is a magician.
Yes.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yes, that's incredible.
Brilliant.
Amazing, yeah.
Has the most amazing history as well. He knows his stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, they've just been in Rockfield recording their album, The Salvation Joan, which is big. Our second record, obviously that was part of a project with Arts Education Exchange. So that was a funded project by Power of Women, who were Thanet based. They gave the funding for the studio, and then we recorded it in Arts Ed studio in Cliftonville. And then it was given to our producer for that session, Rhiannon Nair, and she mixed it in a home studio.
Brilliant.
So it's all dependent. It's dependent on the song. But I think in the future, we're definitely going to look into speaking to Rhiannon about getting maybe an EP done, or even speak to Arts Edex and have another funded project and maybe branch out rather than using their studio, use another.
Yeah.
To make the connections between Arts Edex and other studios around Thanet, because there are loads. I know Hands Up, where they recorded loads of their singles. I know that's quite a good one as well. And there's Big Jelly and Ramsgate. So there's loads of options for us. And now me and Evie are in Guildford as well. We can start looking into more Surrey and London-based studios as well.
Yeah. Something so you can kind of travel up and do it kind of in the middle, in between you guys. Excellent. So have you got some stuff written ready for recording?
I did say as much as I can say yes. I've got an awful habit of writing something, getting really excited about it for a day, saving it, and then never going back to it. So I've got about 4 or 5 ideas that I need to send to Evie so we can start fleshing them out. But we do have some ideas that really could go forward, and it's they are varied between the more one in the same kind of sound or the more buried alive kind of sound, because those two we really like. And you know, I can't pick one I prefer, so we're just going to do both. Some are more heavy riff, thick octave bass tracks, and the other ones are slightly more laid back, slightly more poppier, brighter sounds. But we've got all of this to play with now. So
I love that. I love it. And I absolutely love that you all kind of love different music. I think it's important to have that variety, because you can pull from those genres for your style. You know, look at all the greats aren't just, they weren't the Rolling Stones. They had a backlog of experience and understanding from other music to get where they were. I love the fact that you're female fronted. I love that. And I think you should really push that, girls. You need, you know, and maybe we should do a women in rock interview. Maybe get Jess,
that would be incredible.
Get Jess from Salvation Jane on. We'll get Lauren from Carabella. We'll get Ophelia from Half Moon Panic on, and we'll just have a really good girly, sorry boys, a good girly interview about women in rock. And you know, Luke and Sam, you're really lucky. You've got such a great, you know, band there, and you can really, really go far.
We are lucky.
We are very lucky to have this, you know, this formation.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's nice as well because it really wasn't forced how it happened. It was so natural.
Yeah.
And we all, like, obviously some of us knew each other from before, some of us met at college, and it wasn't even really a planned thing. We kind of just went, oh, let's just make some music.
Yeah.
And then
for a show, didn't it?
Yeah, it started as a show. And then we actually had just intended to have Sam in as a session player, but we love him too much to let him go.
He's a permanent fixture. I love that, Sam.
I'm not even supposed to be here.
Let's find out.
No, you are. I didn't mean it like that.
An integral part of the band, the bassist, you know, they couldn't be lost without you. So let's talk about where people can find out about you. You know, are you all over social media?
Yes, kinda.
Yes.
We have a Facebook page, we have Instagram, we've just made a TikTok. We're hoping to kind of like use that to our advantage. You know, it's something that's more within our age range, I think, and that's great, and it gives us a lot of opportunities. Just got